Hello. I wanted to make this video as a reply. I'm a Christian. Well, I don't use the word Christian because it's such a broad term. There's so many different kinds of Christians. Now, let's break it down. There's a Christian movement where people hold signs up and say, God hates gay people and gay people are going to hell. I'm not one of those. I don't care what you do with, as far as the law is concerned. Now, there's two laws as far as I'm concerned. Let me break it down. There's God's law, the way I see it. And then there's man's law. That's the law in my country, the United States of America, that says I have the right to have my own belief system. For me, that is a form of Christianity. One form of Christianity, remember this is a very broad term, one form of Christianity are the guys who are standing on the street corner saying God hates gay people. Those people are wrong. God doesn't hate gay people. As far as if you want to use the Bible as our document for law, I know mine. God that I serve, of both the Old and New Testament, doesn't hate people, period. He made us. He doesn't hate us. I'm a sinner. I will always be a sinner. What are my sins? Let's do some confession. I like food, and I overeat food. That's called gluttony. And in the Old Testament, a glutton and a sluggard, which would be every fat person on this earth, a glutton and a sluggard, or maybe someone who doesn't like to exercise, the penalty for that would be death. The penalty for all sin is death. Theft, death. Adultery, death. I'm an adulteress. I've been married 3 times, and I have 3 kids by 3 different fathers. I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve heaven. I'm a glutton, I'm a sluggard, and I'm an adulteress by biblical standards. So, I'm not judging gay people, okay? And if you don't believe in my God, that much more, I'm not judging you, because you're not going by the same set of laws that I believe that I break when I sin. You don't believe in those sins. And in the United States of America, we are free to have our own belief systems. And we're free to practice those belief systems. Okay? So, when we talk about religion, we need to use the book that we're talking about. So when I talk to other Christians, I will use the Bible and scriptures as the law. Now, if you're not a Christian and you're going to twist the Bible on me, we're going to have a problem. I know my Bible, and I know what sin is. I'm a sinner just like everybody else. There's no single person on this earth that is not a sinner. We are all in need of God's grace. And even though, I have repented of gluttony and lost 150 pounds, I've repented of sloth. I've repented means to change the course and not do it anymore, okay? To go and sin no more, if you will. So even though I go and sin no more in those areas, I'm still tempted to sin, and sometimes I give into it. Not every day is perfect. More and more it's like learning to walk. You fall down, you fall down, you fall down, you get up, you walk. It's like learning to walk. It's not, you have to follow all the laws, all 613 laws that are in the Bible today. That's where grace comes from. And grace isn't a new concept that started with Christ. Grace was in the Old Testament scriptures as well. God gives us grace to try. Okay, so if you're a Christian and you're using the same definition of sin that I am, then we're all damned to hell. Only by grace are we saved through faith in the Son of God, who loved us and gave himself for us. Okay, I'm not hating anyone. So before this goes on too long, we've defined sin and we've defined grace. Now let us define the law of the land in the United States of America. In the United States of America, I have the right to practice my religion, as do Wiccans and Muslims and Satanists and whoever else, Hindus, Orthodox Jews. If you want to practice your religion in this country, you have that freedom. And I've received a lot of hate from people who say that I'm hating them because I want to practice my religion. At this point, I'm not saying you have to follow my God. You don't. And if I have a business, you don't have to justify yourself when you come into a business. Nobody does. And I don't think that that's the intention of the law in Indiana. The intention of the law in Indiana is to protect the freedom of religion, the free practice thereof. Nobody is going to deny you a sandwich when you come into a lunch counter. Nobody's going to ask you, are you gay? Oh, well, that would be profiling, right? Nobody's going to do that. Not in a civilized society. We are a civilized society, guys. We're not. Look at the Middle East. Look at some of the places where they're throwing gays off the roofs. That's wrong. That's sin. That's murder. And they don't have the right to do that. Even people will say, oh, well, Christians say that you should be stoned. You can't. Nobody can be stoned. You can't be stoned to death. Even gluttons and sluggers can't be stoned to death. That requires if you go by the law, that requires a Levitical priesthood. It requires that there are gates of the temple. The temple was destroyed. The second temple was destroyed. There is no temple. There is no sacrifice. There are laws that are null and void when there's no temple. Okay? It doesn't ever change what the definition of sin, but it does change the punishment of sin. You can't be judged by the law and executed when you would be breaking the law to do so. You see what I'm saying? If I stone someone because they're a glutton like me, I would be breaking God's law, because you can't stone somebody without a proper trial. You can't stone somebody without taking them to the gates of the tabernacle. Sweetheart, where's the gates of the tabernacle? It doesn't exist on the earth. Okay, so nobody's going to stone you. If they're a Christian and they say they're going to stone you, that's not possible, because they'd be breaking God's law to do so. Okay, so anybody who would say that would be against Christianity, okay? Those are called wolves in sheep's clothing, who pretend to be rays of light, but they aren't, okay? I'm almost at 10 minutes, and I was going to stop at 10 minutes. But as far as the laws of the land is concerned, I'm I'm sorry, but we still do have the freedom of religion. And I have the freedom to say, I think that whatever is a sin. I have the freedom to say, I think, by my religion, the book that I go by, my law of what I believe with all of my heart is the creator of all mankind. He set into action this law that says that, murder is sin. Killing babies is sin. A woman who tries to usurp the authority of men is a sinner. People who don't take care of their children are sinners. People who steal are sinners. People who lie are sinners. People who are sexually fornicators or adulterers, they're all sinners, okay? That pretty much classifies all of us. So according to my book, according to my belief in sin, we're all sinners. I don't want to deny anyone the right to come up to the lunch counter and eat based upon whether or not they're a sinner. But at the same time, you can't force, if someone is a Christian and they're working at an abortion, at a OBGYN, and somebody comes in and wants an abortion, well, I'm sorry, honey, you don't want your baby. You're going to have to go to Planned Parenthood because I'm a Christian and I believe that I would be committing murder. And I don't want to kill your baby. Please don't make me. That would be sinning against my God. That's the right that we're fighting for. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just don't want to hurt my God either. Okay? I don't hate you. And I don't hate gay people. And if I had a business, I wouldn't decline service to someone based upon the fact that I suspect that they're gay. Or even if they told me they were gay, I would say, whatever, And if I had the, I don't know. This whole thing is just ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Nobody wants to hurt you. Nobody wants to kill you. Nobody wants to keep you from ponying up to the lunch counter, okay? We just don't want to be caught up in what you're doing. If we feel that it's wrong, I have my own sin to deal with. I don't need yours too. Okay? I'm struggling to not be a sinner in the areas where I'm tempted. And I'm failing in a lot of ways. Like everybody else, I'm just trying to do my best. I don't need you to put your sins on me. That's all I'm saying. If I don't want to participate in something that I feel is wrong, why don't I have the freedom in America to practice my religion in public? I'm really scared for my kids. I'm scared. It's really a scary world where it's abnormal to love God. That just really scares me. Because there is Christian persecution going on. The Muslim Brotherhood is trying to wipe us out. And they hate gay people too. Christians aren't going to hurt them. They need to be worried about the Muslims. Sorry. Just the way it is. Alright, I'm up to 14 minutes now. I don't know what to do other than to tell you that I love you. I don't maybe necessarily love what I see in your life, and I think it's going to be harder for you in your life because of your choices. If you decide that you want to live that lifestyle, that's your freedom. But don't make me aid and abet you in what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. Peace. Shabbat shalom.